Hi, my name is Michael Wells. Welcome to my talk entitled Implementing Sweden's Parental Leave to Promote Gender Equality. Today I'm going to discuss what Swedish parental leave entails, the benefits of Swedish parental leave, as well as the implementation problems with parental leave, especially with respect to father involvement. So let's get in it. Zooming into Swedish parental leave, we can see that the policy is quite generous. Currently, it provides parents with 480 days off from work to be with their young child. 390 of those days are paid at 80% of a parent's salary, while the other 90 days are paid at a low flat rate, around $26 per day. Parental leave is flexible. Parents can take months off at a time or take partial work days off using their parental leave. Plus, both mothers and fathers can use parental leave. During the first 2 weeks that a child is born, both parents have the right to be off of work and home with their new child. After that, the parents can decide who will take parental leave. Normally that's the mother to start with, since she needs to recover from giving birth and to breastfeed. However, now parents can take up to 30 days of parental leave simultaneously. While in the past only one parent could use parental leave at a time, today both parents can take parental leave at the same time. In order to increase equality between the genders, both parents are given 2 months of parental leave that only they can use. And if both parents take more than those 2 months, then they start to receive extra money in what's called the gender equality bonus. So that's a little bit about the policy and where it stands today. But where did it come from and why was it made? Well, parental leave was designed to benefit the family. Parental leave unites the family and allows parents time to bond with their child. It was also created, though, to further encourage women to work. See, prior to 1974, Sweden had been trying for decades to encourage women to work through its policies. But they noticed that women were still being stuck with having to raise kids, while men continued working. So they created parental leave. Now, fathers could be at home and mothers could go back to work. But does the policy do any good? Well, to find out, we need to jump over to a new iceberg, where yes, we can indeed see that there are many benefits to Sweden's parental leave. On this iceberg surface, parents can take months off of work and still be able to come back to their place of employment. They have prolonged periods of time to bond with their newborn, and Sweden is actively working toward improving gender equality by further encouraging fathers to use parental leave, such as through the gender equality bonus. Does parental leave allow parents to do extra things with their time off from work? Yes, indeed. For example, it allows new parents to visit healthcare workers and learn about their child's growth and development, any problems or delays their child might have, and different parenting techniques and solutions to everyday problems. Parental leave also gives mothers time to recover from giving birth and time to breastfeed. Many agencies, like the WHO, state that mothers should breastfeed for 6 months. They say breastfeeding is beneficial both for the child's development and for the mother's health. Thanks to parental leave, mothers have the time to breastfeed, which may be part of the reason why 2/3 of mothers solely provide breast milk until the child is 6 months of age in Sweden. Children and mothers aren't the only ones who benefit from parental leave. Fathers also benefit. Swedish fathers are even said to have the best parental leave in the world, giving fathers more time to spend with their child. Parental leave throws parents a life preserver when they need it the most. New parents can often feel like they're drowning, but parental leave provides parents with some relief, allowing them to stay afloat. It lets parents decide if they want to work or not, reduces their stress by not having to juggle work and family life, and supports co-parenting, as both parents are encouraged to use parental leave. The policy is especially beneficial for fathers. Compared to other countries, fathers use parental leave more. Fathers who take parental leave also can show more empathy towards parenting, since they themselves have walked for 24 hours in parenting shoes. And by having more fathers use parental leave, more mothers are able to pursue other interests, like working. So now we've talked about what Swedish parental leave is, and we've talked about the benefits to parental leave. But are there any problems with this idea of promoting gender equality through parental leave? To find out, we need to look at the implementation research. To do that, we have to hold our breaths and go deep into this frigid water to a place no one wants to go. We have to visit the room for improvement. In implementation, there is the top-down and bottom-up approaches to analyzing the impression, the impact, and the influence a policy has towards achieving its goal. In this case, the goal is to promote both parents, especially fathers, to participate in childcare. A top-down approach looks at a policy and sees how it trickles down, how it can be implemented by different people until it reaches its goal. That is, until it reaches fathers. So let's look and see if parental leave has any implementation problems towards promoting gender equality. First, let's look at the parental policy leave itself. Yes, it looks like there may be some potential problems built into this policy. Like I mentioned earlier, the goal of parental leave is to promote both men and women to work, and both to do housework and childcare. However, there are at least 4 potential drawbacks within the policy that limit father involvement. These drawbacks are highlighted in red. The first 2 potential drawbacks may affect both fathers and mothers. See, in Sweden, parents can only receive 80% of their salary. That's a 20% discount. Those discounts may work for H&M, but when it comes to your salary, that 20% loss may make you hesitate. On top of that, there's a financial cap. This cap is around $50,000 a year, so if you make more than $50,000 a year, then you are actually getting less than 80% of your income, and for some families, that may not be financially possible. Although the solutions for these problems aren't easy to solve, they could be solved if parents receive more than 80% of their pay. In fact, some companies have recognized this potential financial problem, and they've given their employees 10% extra just so that they'll earn 90% of their real pay while on parental leave. Another solution is that women can earn more than men. If women earn more than their partners, then it will put more pressure on those partners, the fathers, to start taking parental leave. Another problem is this financial cap. Increasing or eliminating the cap altogether could encourage more parents, especially fathers, to use parental leave. The other 2 potential problems with this policy are grouped around parenting itself. See, parents only receive 80% of their pay for the first 390 days. That's about 13 months of full-time parental leave. If mothers breastfeed for the recommended 6 months, then they have already used nearly half of all the truly paid-for parental leave days. Therefore, a solution may be to increase the amount of parental leave days. At the same time, mothers are thrown into the deep end of parenting, having to wade their way through new parenting issues. This encourages moms to become the expert on their child, since they spend more time with their child than the father, who needs to go to work. In other words, from the beginning of life, the mother has historically been treated as the primary parent and the father as the secondary parent, since mothers are with the child alone for the first several months, while the father continues working. A solution to both of these issues is to permit both parents to use their parental leave days simultaneously. Sweden just implemented this, and it will be great to see if parents use it or not. Another problem from the top-down perspective is that there is an unclear definition in the parental leave policy. On one hand, the policy says that there is a lot of flexibility and parents can choose who takes their parental leave. On the other hand, it strives for gender equality and promotes this by establishing the use it or lose it 2-month system and through the gender equality bonus. So it's hard to implement a policy without knowing which goal it has in mind: flexibility or equality. Similarly, there's no theory. Who says fathers even want to be at home? Throughout the 20th century, women fought for the right to work and to receive equal pay, and they're still continuing that fight. Throughout the 20th century, several Swedish laws were passed to promote women in the workplace. However, this isn't true for fathers. Fathers, at least as a group, were never demanding to stay at home from work, at least not in 1974, and they're just starting to demand that today. So it may be hard to implement a gender equal policy when one half of the population isn't so demanding towards having it. It's also really hard to implement a policy if the policymakers can't oversee its implementation. In this case, policymakers have little control over how successful gender equality through parental leave is. They can't control people's internal motivations. They can't control society's acceptance of father involvement. They can't control how other people treat fathers. But more on that in a second. In other words, there are several potential problems on implementing parental leave in order to be gender equal from a top-down perspective. Are there other limitations if we use a bottom-up perspective? Let's move to another iceberg and find out. A bottom-up analysis looks at people who actually implement the policy, those people who need to encourage fathers to use parental leave. So if the goal is father involvement in children's lives, then are there any obstacles standing in the father's way? Well, let's look. Many fathers feel that companies don't want them to take parental leave. Even though fathers have the right to use it, many feel that companies need them. While mothers are encouraged to use parental leave, fathers perceive their workplace as more demanding of their time. Fathers may also be encouraged or discouraged from parental leave due to maternal gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is a concept where a person has the power to either let another through the gate or to stop them at the gate. In this case, mothers may see it as their job to raise children and may limit father involvement. Similar to this, child health nurses may view their workplace as mother-friendly and want women to feel safe in that environment. Child health nurses may view the workplace as mother-friendly and want women to feel safe in that environment. Because of this, fathers may not always feel welcomed and therefore miss out on important information about their child's health and about parenting. Many places that need to see infants and children, like health centers, are only open during normal office hours. This makes it hard for working fathers to visit and limits their involvement. Lastly, the environment themselves may limit father involvement. Many fathers may not feel welcomed if they are surrounded by women who are either mothers or public sector workers. Now these are all potential limitations. Fathers still have the right to involve themselves in Sweden. However, this presentation has pointed out several barriers towards creating gender equality. If Sweden truly wants gender equality, then it needs to remove these barriers. Sweden needs to treat fathers like equal parents, and other organizations and people need to be accepting of and even promoting of father involvement. Making these difficult but needed changes will help parental leave achieve its goal of promoting gender equality.